I think you're going to need to take a step back and define ideology if you're going to go down this route, broski.
You haven't answered my question. You're the one avoiding.
I don't care about your question. Your question is real dumb, broski.
Listen to the self-hating white man.
I know that I'm just some cis white hick here from North Alabama.
Biological sex is a hilarious term.
Did you just like knee-jerk fucking disagree and then realize what he said?
You don't know how words work and you want to sit here and talk about trans ideology. Shut up when I am talking. You just can't stop, broski.
When was the last time we heard this guy say more than about 3 fucking words in a row before one of these 2 fucking chuckleheads chimed in?
Why am I dancing with that trans person?
Terminal trans derangement caller thinks we believe in gender souls. So the thing about the gender souls thing is it's meant as like metaphor. If you're going to say, I identify as female, there is something within me that makes me female that I cannot tell you what it is and I cannot express what it is and it's not shown by anything. The way people kind of express that, the way it's like done metaphorically is to say, you believe in a gendered soul. You believe in something completely intangible that makes you a woman when you're actually male, when generally a woman is a female. That's kind of an analog, isn't it? To say, oh, so you believe in like gendered souls or something like that. So I'd be surprised if it wasn't about this. But listen, maybe the person calling in is a moron. Often they have morons call in. This kind of shit isn't unique to right-wingers. Left-wingers also do this shit where bewildered and unprepared people call in, not knowing what the fuck they're talking about, and they get easy dunks on them. It goes both ways. And the way these people do it is make it a 2-on-1, where they can meet you anytime. So I hope it's clear, by the way. I'm not just saying it's rightoids that go around having these like unbalanced, unfair debates with people, where it really is just about owning people that disagree with you. It's the same thing fucking here. Anyway, let's have a look.
Brian in Texas. Brian. You are on the line with Jimmy and John. How's it going, Brian?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, he's from Texas. No one talks like that.
Yep.
Okay.
I think my girlfriend used to watch Jimmy Snow. He didn't have this disgusting man bun going on at the time.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you for talking about a subject that you guys probably didn't expect to talk about tonight. So,
we always expect trans stuff to come up every show, even though we have a trans dedicated show by trans people each week. It just happens. It happens constantly. So don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Even the way he drinks water is like douchey. This guy is just like douche incarnate. Don't like.
I wanted to talk about the trans ideology. Well, let me just get into why I think it is an ideology. And basically, there's a couple different pathways to trans. So I'm not necessarily talking about people who have autogynephilia and then they adopt trans ideology as a way to...
Oh, he didn't like that already. They didn't like this already. Jesus Christ.
Who have autogynephilia and then they adopt trans ideology as a way to...
Listen, stop losing the argument. Accept that AGP exists. Actually learn a bit about it. Stop wincing every time you hear the phrase. It's here to stay. And the more you wince at it, the more it's going to make people talk about it. So just accept it. Just accept it as a thing that exists. Watch some fucking Crossy channels and tell me that AGP isn't a thing.
I think you're going to need to take a step back and define ideology if you're going to go down this route, broski.
Broski. What a fucking loser.
So it's just, it requires belief in something. So like if you look at homosexuality.
The term ideology is, wait. So the term of ideology.
So they want to argue about the term ideology. Why? Why is this the fucking route you want to go down? Oh wait, it's because the shit they argue for doesn't actually make any fucking sense. So they need to like obfuscate and misdirect as much as possible.
It just means you believe in something?
Well, it means you believe in a bunch of things. It's like a system of ideas. It's not just one idea. One idea isn't an ideology. But the beliefs around trans people aren't just one idea. It's things like there are more than 2 sexes. Gender is a spectrum. You have a gender identity within you that might be different from your sex assigned at birth. And we're just saying that those 2 things are on an equal playing field for God knows what reason. And that gender identity is innate. All these kinds of things. That's an ideology because that's a whole different bunch of ideas that all come together. There is no reason. Like, Jimmy, he immediately runs into trouble and Jimmy demands he defines basic terms like ideology. Like, why is this the topic of conversation?
Let's not get hung up so much on the term here. Let's just...
Absolutely, we're going to get hung up on the term. Defining terms is actually a pivotal...
Yeah, listen. Man Bun here finds it advantageous to get hung up on terms. They're talking about the thing that he called in to talk about.
Part to both conversation and debate. So why would we not define the central term to the topic you are calling in about?
Okay, so...
You're telling me you're going to defend trans ideology does exist and that it is an ideology. And I say, okay, what is an ideology separate from it? And you don't want to tell me?
Okay, it's a system of ideas, right? That's an ideology.
That's not the term.
No, that is basically what it means.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So do you believe you're...
Wait, what? Hang on. Did you just like knee-jerk disagree and then realize what he said?
System of ideas, right? That's an ideology.
That's not the term. Okay, sure. Yeah. So do you believe you're heterosexual?
No. Okay. Oh wait, no. I'll accept it actually. Jesus Christ, man. You can tell just from that how utterly fucking bad faith these people are and how this has got nothing to do with debate.
I mean, I am, but that's the point.
Okay. Do you have an idea that you are heterosexual?
Homosexuality doesn't require belief. It doesn't. Are
you practicing? Of course it does. Of course it does. What do you mean it doesn't? What? Do you believe you're heterosexual?
Listen, if you're getting this irritable at the very start of your example, at a point where you're not even discussing the topic he called in, something is wrong.
Sexual?
Well, I am, but homosexuality doesn't require...
But do you believe you are?
If he says he is heterosexual, then yes, he believes he's heterosexual. Fuck me, dude. If you say there is a God, you believe in God, obviously.
And it doesn't require everyone else.
You don't know how words work, and you want to sit here and talk about trans ideology. Of course you believe you are. You could say no, but knowledge is a subset of belief. I know I'm heterosexual.
Well, why are you asking then? If he says, I am heterosexual, then yes, take it as read. Okay, so yes, you do believe. Now here's the point. But no, because it's not about fucking debating.
Well, fine. That's still a belief.
But what does this even prove? Believing that you personally are heterosexual isn't an ideology. You could maybe have an ideology that includes believing one is heterosexual. I don't know that anyone exists, to be honest, but maybe it does. Maybe some kind of self-hating gay ideology. I don't know. Like, what are we even doing?
We're keeping it civil. I'm not here to insult you.
Where have I gone uncivil?
The way you've been talking to him the entire time.
I'm just telling you, you're saying I don't know how words work. Or
correct. You are not using the terms correctly that you are in here. For example, you just said ideology is just a system of ideas, which is not the way that it is used at all. And you are now being pedantic and trying to deny, to prove the point that you are too broadly using the term, because you're trying to get ahead of me and where it's going to go.
And ideology requires that a person believe that there's a metaphysical sex and a biological sex.
Incorrect.
And
what?
Hang on.
That doesn't even make sense.
Hang on, Arden. Do you believe there's?
Oh, and he calls fucking Arden Harton. Disgusting. You can be a sex that is not your physical sex. Well, yeah, trans people, some of them certainly do believe that kind of thing.
That a person believe that there's a metaphysical.
Like they're just straight away denying it rather than asking him to expand on this. How is he wrong? Oh wait, no, they can just appeal to authority and have the trans person put them right. Well, unfortunately, your trans person is Arden Hart, who is a fucking retard.
Sex and a biological sex.
Incorrect.
And
like, I don't think this is particularly wrong. You've got one sex that is like beyond biology and one sex that is biology, and you're saying those don't match. That sounds to me like a way of saying you've got gender identity and then sex. I think he could have put it in a better way. But just because someone didn't put something in the most optimal way, that doesn't mean you act like this towards them. Because you don't appear to understand what they're actually talking about.
No, what?
Hang on.
That doesn't even make sense.
Hang on, Arden, do you believe there's a metaphysical sex?
No.
Oh, well.
But you do believe in gender identity. What's gender identity then? Oh wait, no one can explain what gender identity is. Do you know why? Because gender identity is just calling yourself a thing based on how you feel in regards to gender. That's all it is. It's meaningless. There is no reason why you would need to prioritize gender identity in society or in law. Just no reason at all. Because anyone can call themselves anything. Anyone can decide their gender identity is something else today.
Well, the trans woman who is present.
See, well, the trans person says otherwise. Trans people think all kinds of fucking bizarre fucking things. This is pathetic. This isn't how you fucking argue this kind of shit. Like, why even take this call? Why not be like, oh, call in at this time?
Doesn't believe in a metaphysical sex, and yet I believe you would assume you would describe.
Oh, so Ardent Heart speaks for all trans people, do they? Like, isn't that kind of transphobic? Well, one trans person says otherwise. If you were to take some of my opinions and go to some trans people and point to me and say, well, this trans person thinks you can't change your sex, they're not going to accept that because trans people aren't a monolith and every single trans person doesn't think the same way as me. So why are they okay to do it here?
Arden as accepting trans ideology. Which way are you going to show you know how words work next, Brian?
He's like actually a dick.
So they believe that there is a...
This is the leftoid version of when fucking Ben Shapiro talks to some fucking college student with Down syndrome who doesn't have the most smart opinions on something and then posts it on his channel. Ben Shapiro destroys woke feminists. This is the same fucking thing.
Biological sex. Sex that's not biological.
Gender.
No.
She believes in.
I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, so what is gender if not metaphysical sex then? Is it fair to describe gender as metaphysical sex? Is that really such a crazy claim to make?
That I'm just some cis white hick here from.
Oh God, listen to this shit, man. Listen to the self-hating white man.
Gender.
No.
She believes in.
I'm sorry. I know that I'm just some cis white hick here from North Alabama, but like you're trying.
You hate yourself.
To equivocate gender with some kind of sex so that you can.
Gender is based on sex. It comes from sex. Like, what are you doing? You have to kind of talk about sex when you talk about gender because that's where it comes from.
Force gender as a sex attribute, which is just not. Am I wrong about this? Like, that's,
yes, you're fucking wrong about this. Oh my fucking God. Gender is downstream from sex, okay? Why do you think it's called masculine and feminine? Masculine, male, feminine, female. Why is it called those things? Why do you have to have a category called non-binary to pretend that there's something outside of the sex? And even then, they're still just one of the other sexes. And their presentation is at best a mixture of the two, rather than being alien to both sexes. It never is. Why do so many non-binary women have short hair? Because short hair is a stereotypically masculine thing. Like, this is retarded. Why do you talk about trans issues? Why are you here? To flagellate yourself for being a white fucking cis guy from Alabama? Is that the reason you're here?
that's what he's doing.
How would he know? He doesn't know what's right.
The purpose of the whole point of someone who is trans.
Passive aggressive as fuck. These people are like middle-aged wine moms in the bodies of slightly younger men.
Is that their biology, they believe their biology doesn't match their, I mean, I don't know how else to say it besides the metaphysical sex, the way
He's basically saying the same shit you believe.
they think of themselves.
Well, then if you don't know how, hang on, Brian, I'm glad you just said that you don't know how else to say it because you are actually making my same point. You don't know how else to say it, even though those Brian, don't interrupt. You don't need to. Brian, the reason you don't know how to say it is because you are so ill-informed on this that you don't know that this.
Okay, concluding on him. You haven't even got off the ground with this conversation. You're making all these claims about someone you don't know.
Language is readily available and 101 class level shit.
Condescending, wow.
Does a transgender person believe their gender is different than their biological sex? Yes.
What is,
correct?
first of all, biological sex? That wasn't the term you made. You wanted us to concede to metaphysical sex.
He was saying metaphysical sex instead of gender, which seems like it's fair enough. Like, instead of like soying out immediately and asking Arden for their fucking input, as if anyone needs to ask Arden Heart anything ever, except, I don't know, what it's like to fuck a man that could be your fucking granddad. Like, instead of that, why not be like, okay, by metaphysical sex, are you talking about the same thing that I'm talking about when I say gender? That's what someone actually interested in debate would do. But he's not interested in debate. He's interested in talking down to people.
Yes, the way they use gender is their metaphysical sex. It's something that cannot be measured.
There is no such thing
How is it not? How couldn't it be described that way?
as a metaphysical. That's like, what are you talking about? Metaphysical does not refer to all things which cannot be measured.
A trans person believes that their biological sex does not match their what?
Is depression a
gender.
metaphysical experience?
Their gender, right? Their biological
Is depression a metaphysical experience?
No, he's not engaging at all. He's trying to continue talking about the actual subject, and he's going off about depression. Is depression a metaphysical experience? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Gender is like societal. It's not real. You can't look at it and say, this is someone's gender innately, because there isn't an innate thing called gender. That's sex. Gender is like stereotypes. It's, you know, where sex meets culture. And we say, this is things that we associate with men and women, even though these things are not themselves biologically one sex or the other. Doesn't know what metaphysical means. Yeah. He must be like, he's like overcompensating. He can't just like bridge a gap where it's like, well, by this thing, you mean that thing that I'm familiar with. Like a good faith debater would do. Instead, it's, oh no, that doesn't exist. That can't possibly exist.
No.
Is depression metaphysical?
Their biological sex.
Is depression metaphysical? I can keep repeating myself too.
This is sea lioning.
And we'll only proceed once you answer mine. Is depression metaphysical?
No, there's actual.
Is happiness metaphysical?
No.
Oh, so what you're describing are things which can't be measured, but can only be the reported experiences of individuals, and yet they're not metaphysical.
Happiness can be.
How are they not? You're just saying this definitively with no like backing.
Measured. Depression can be measured.
Give me the unit of measurement.
But anyways, regardless.
Oh, I would say but anyways and try to get off of there real quick too.
You haven't answered my question. You're the one avoiding.
I don't care about your question. Your question is real dumb.
The question is dumb if a transgender person believes that their biological sex doesn't match their gender. That's a dumb question.
If we have to still concede that gender means metaphysical sex, yeah.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it mean metaphysical sex? You can't just say metaphysical sex doesn't exist, therefore gender is not that. Can it be described as that?
So you're trying to define gender.
Go ahead.
I'm not asking you to concede that.
No, Brian. Can we? Are you agreeing that you were trying to equivocate gender with this quote unquote metaphysical sex, which is not a real thing? That's something.
Not a real thing. It doesn't matter if it's a real thing. It matters if he's describing the same thing you are.
That's been made up for the purposes of this call. Are you agreeing that gender is not metaphysical sex? Is that are we agreeing to that so that we can move forward?
They just try and strong arm him into agreeing with something that they haven't actually established. They just said it's not real. Well, is it not real? Could something not exist that is well defined as metaphysical sex?
Implying that the way gender is used is implied as a metaphysical sex. Because gender
no, it's not.
Is totally on.
No.
They won't explain how, will they?
It's biology. Not. No, you're trying to force the word sex into the conversation when it's really about gender.
I don't
even remember what the conversation was, to be honest.
Gender person is generally going to be a person whose gender identity is not.
Yeah, could you say metaphysical sex in place of gender identity? Then you know what each other are talking about and you could continue the debate instead of being a retard.
Not coherent with whatever they were.
So what's gender identity? What's gender identity? It's just you calling yourself something you're not in relation to sex and gender.
Signed at birth by whatever doctor pulled them out.
Assigned at birth by whatever doctor pulled them out. As if it's that arbitrary. As if a doctor just decides what you are for the rest of your life. It's not really like that, man. What is it? 99.95% of people are correctly identified sex at birth.
No one is assigned a sex at birth.
Yes, you absolutely are, because your chromosomes are, yes, you are, because there are lots of people, even if we get rid of every example of trans people, there are people whose chromosomal existence does not match what gets up on their birth certificate. There are people.
Oh my God. Actually fucking can't. If you have Klinefelter syndrome, you have XXY chromosomes, you're still male. Those are male chromosomes. You're a male person. Your chromosomes do match your sex assigned at birth because that's what you are. You can be a male with different chromosomes to XY. They don't record your chromosomes on your fucking birth certificate because they don't fucking check your fucking chromosomes. They check what sex you are. Because if you look between a kid's legs, you are basically guaranteed to know what sex they are, unless something has gone so badly wrong that you're going to have to look for more information. Holy fucking shit, what does this even mean? Like fucking, I'm not even like intersex. I don't even have a DSD, as far as I know. I hate to think what this sounds like to people that have these like chromosomal differences and stuff.
Because there are lots of people, even if we get rid of every example of trans people, there are people whose chromosomal existence does not match what ends up on their birth certificate.
This is retarded. They don't put your chromosomes on your birth certificate. And you can be a male with different chromosomes to XY. No one's disputing that.
There are people with penises with XX and there are people with vaginas with XY. So yes, you absolutely are
AKA males and females, but okay.
Assigned at birth, and it is on a very basic level investigation of the genitals of a person.
No.
He's really happy with that take. Fucking hell.
Investigation of the genitals of a person.
No. Their sex is identified as what it is.
Incorrect.
And like, Brian keeps interrupting and talking over the host. When was the last time we heard this guy say more than about 3 fucking words in a row before one of these 2 fucking chuckleheads chimed in? You see people with DSDs as some third sex or both sexes. They kind of see that. Yeah. It's like ridiculous. Like they just say the most cracked out fucking shit and it's okay. Because intersex people don't fucking matter, I guess. We can just use them as props for our fucking shitty debate bro tactics. Like, I don't know, man. This kind of shit would it irritates me anyway, because these people think that they're doing this for my benefit as a trans person. I can't imagine what it's like having a DSD and listening to this shit and hearing how fucking insane they are. And then they put these insane, leading as fuck summations of these conversations that probably were written by one of these 2 dipshits, let's be honest. Wait, is Katie Montgomery still a host? I haven't seen Katie Montgomery on the line in fucking time. Katie Montgomery hasn't streamed for about a month. I think we've finally done it. I'm joking. I'm not taking credit.
Incorrect. Okay, let's say no transgender people exist. Let's say you're right that transgenderism is incorrect or whatever you want to go with. Are there or are there not people who have X, Y chromosomes and yet no male major main characteristics? They don't have.
I don't even know where we're at in this conversation now. What has this got to do with anything?
A penis, they don't have balls, and yet they have XY chromosomes.
I'm not saying that there are people. I'm not saying that there are not people that think that their gender doesn't match their biological sex.
We're not talking about think. I'm saying let's have people whose brains never even turn on. If you go and investigate right now, if
someone's brain never even turns on, they don't have a gender identity.
Any definition of sex, could you actually figure out a person's sex purely based on investigating their body with no additional testing, even if you went to a limited... What is a male to you, Brian? What defines a male?
A male is someone who has evolved to produce sperm. A female is someone who has evolved to produce eggs.
Great. And when you are born... Stop.
Look at this fucking loser's face. As if these people don't know that they're both male. And that the only gamete they will ever produce, if any, is sperm. And that they both have penises. Neither of them have vaginas. Neither of them know any men who have vaginas. Except for trans men, which aren't men, they're women. As if you have the fucking nerve to pretend that you find this confusing. Fuck off, bro.
When you are born, how do they investigate whether or not you evolved to produce...
They look between your legs. They see the penis. Not only are you male, but you've developed correctly, and like you should. Where you start getting all these chromosomal differences, and potentially genital differences. is when things start going wrong, when there are problems, when something doesn't happen that should happen or happens that shouldn't happen. None of that disproves the existence of the sex binary, because there isn't a third sex, there isn't a third gamete, there isn't a third way of reproducing, or sorry, a second or additional way of reproducing.
Produce sperm.
Well, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they can just...
See, this is the problem.
No, he's right. What are you talking about? It's like 99.95% of the time. They look between your legs and they are correct. How many people does this person think are like hermaphrodites or have something like 5ARD, where they might be male because they have internal testes, but because they're internal, they don't have a penis?
Well, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they can just...
See, this is the problem.
No, he's correct. You're just lying here. And you don't let him get 3 words out before you cut him off.
You're already changing. And so what? So for those people who that 99...
And those people that they're wrong about, they're still male or female. Or if their development went so badly wrong, maybe they're neither. Maybe you just can't tell. But that's not a third category. That's a null category.
percent doesn't work.
Why does the sex categorization have to include every single person that existed and ever has? Why does it have to do that? Why can't there be people that aren't really accounted for in binary sex? Why does that disprove it? If someone wanted to say, I'm neither male nor female because I have no genitalia, which I don't, is artificial as to why I don't, but I don't, then maybe I'm neither. So what? Does that mean there's not a binary anymore? Well, there's still large and small gamete havers, producers, that have sex or combine those two some other way to make more people. We're talking about the way in which people reproduce. That's the categorization.
The other 1%, are they given a sex? Also, is a sex recorded on their birth certificate?
Like, there is no perfect way to determine someone's sex and be 100% accurate every single time. That just doesn't exist. That's just not how we do it. The easiest way is to just look between a child's legs, and that's what it is. Costs less money. You don't have to run all these fucking tests at the taxpayer's expense or whatever, if you're in the UK and it's NHS or whatever. Or at the parent's expense, just to make sure that they are the sex that they think they are. You just look between their legs, because almost every single time you're going to be correct anyway. Most of the time with DSDs, you don't even realize until they start going through puberty and things don't happen the same way they're supposed to. Like, they grow way too tall. Their genitalia doesn't develop properly. Any of the other things that happen. They start getting facial hair where you thought they wouldn't because you thought they were female.
Get to, based on that same investigation. For example, would a person with gonads, with a person with hidden gonads and an unexpressed would a person who's, are you, bro, shut the fuck up.
I love how indignant he is when this guy starts doing the same shit that he has been doing the entire time. God, he's a fucking moron.
Shut up when I am talking. You just can't stop. Because your whole point is you aren't assigned a sex at birth, it is identified, and then you yourself...
Yes, it is. In almost every case. There's just a very tiny chance they might be wrong. So what? So what, we get rid of it altogether? We put no sex on their birth certificate? We don't talk about sex whatsoever because it's only a 99.95% perfect science and not 100% perfect science? No science is perfect. Nothing that we understand about anything is perfect. Like, especially the human brain. There's like so much shit we know nothing about. There's so much shit that is still alien to us. And the worst thing is, these kinds of people, they make all kinds of claims about how like the brain works and stuff to push like trans shit. That science is way less fucking settled. That science is way less complete than our understanding of the rest of the body. But go off, I guess.
Said it works for 99% of the people, which...
How come these people would claim that every single person that exists has a gender identity, when lots of people report that they don't have a gender identity? Do you only believe the people that say they have a gender identity? If 100% of people can't be shown to have a gender identity, isn't that model of being trans kind of broken? Isn't it kind of wrong? Shouldn't you throw it out because it's not 100% correct? Oh, but that only works when it's things that you don't agree with. When you know which sex you are. You have a penis. If you didn't have a penis, you wouldn't be that sex, like 99.95% of the time. Is that not good enough?
I don't know if the number's 99, but most people would agree with that.
99.95.
It is most people, their sex is identified, and that if you look at their genitals, you're probably going to figure out which this term
Yes, almost definitely you know. So what are we talking about?
biological sex is a hilarious term. But of course, when we're saying sex, we're talking about biological sex. We're not talking about fucking the doctor. We know what you mean.
Now what you need to do is ask your supposed host, Katie Montgomery, why they go around claiming they are unequivocally female. Now you need to explain why so many trans people seem to think they can literally change sex, or have changed sex.
Most of the time it's going to be the case, but you are still assigned it at birth based on that and any additional testing that could uncover
Yes, it's observed.
that your story isn't actually quite so simple. And by the way, a significant portion of those people who evolved to produce sperm will also have evolved some genetic condition which prevents them from actually delivering those sperm. So even
Yes, but they're still male. You would still categorize all of those as males. So what's the point?
within your own definitions, there is a large spectrum. And this is before we even get to whether or not trans people exist. Brian, we're at the end of the show. It's 9:52. Call back the Transatlantic Call-In Show. You can literally talk to doctors, politicians, people who are like, this is what they do.
Yeah, they're all retards. Who's the politician? Is that Josie Rose? Retard. Dr. Ben, complete retard. Whatever the fuck Arden Hart is. Turbo fucking retard.
But please, for the love of fucking the God you probably believe in.
Whenever they have a difference, whenever they feel like there's a difference between their gender and their biology, why is it that it's...
We're still on this point. Do trans people think that their metaphysical sex or gender or whatever is different from their sex? Couldn't we just have, like, accepted this and moved on? And had any kind of conversation? It's almost like these people don't want to have conversations or want to hold it hostage behind whatever bullshit metric they can think of.
Always the biology that's wrong.
Why is it that you thought you were going to get it? First of all, a lot of people...
It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he says at this point. This guy is going to soy the fuck out of him regardless.
This is... Brian, you're continuing. Brian, you are...
Like, this guy is going to make faces like he needs his shit. This guy ate fucking tacos before the show. And he's just waiting to fucking explode on the toilet. He wishes this guy would stop. So he can tend to that. There's a fucking major stomachache brewing. Judging by this one's facial expressions the whole time.
You need to do basic level of listening to people other than... I don't care about your point, and I don't care about you fucking talking over me, Brian. You are getting basic level shit.
So is this the epic takedown? Is this the epic takedown?
So wrong. There are biologists would be embarrassed even if they are anti-trans for some of the dumb shit you are saying. Stop listening to
What did he say that was dumb?
ridiculous people on podcasts being like, oh, by the way, here with my penis, which should be the most important thing to
Who does he listen to on podcasts?
everybody in the world. Here's what I think about the trans shit. And maybe first...
Yeah, people are always like, oh, you should just call in. Like, why? To be spoken to like this? To get like 3 words out and get shouted over by one of these fucking morons? I might one day, but I'm not rushing off to it because fuck these people.
Approach it with empathy and people going through fucking shit and be full of gratitude that you don't have to go through it, and then go start learning the fucking actual basics.
Go through what? What is so hard about being trans beyond like the fucking pain in the ass getting your meds and getting all this and that and the other? Really not that hard, bro.
From actual authorities on the matter. And then once you do all that, call back and shut the fuck up when you're being spoken to and your questions are being answered. Thank you for waiting on the line long enough for me to say fuck off, go away.
They're one of the rudest...
But one of the... See, like, I can tell you weren't even listening to that because you were loading up the next...
Mate, do you think maybe people turn their brains off when instead of just having a conversation with people, you scream at them and tell them to shut the fuck up constantly? What an absolute embarrassment. What the fuck is this guy's deal?